The broadcast is now starting. All attendees are in listen-only mode.
Good afternoon, everyone. Thanks again for joining us on our Lunch and Learn webinar series. This is the last in the series, so hopefully you've enjoyed them. We're always keen to get a bit of feedback, so if you do have any feedback, feel free to drop me an email. As always, the previous ones are available on YouTube to view. If you search for Socrates Lunch and Learn webinars, they should all appear right there for you. With me again today, I have Louise, who is our Socrates support team lead. And today, Louise is going to be going through some of the most commonly asked questions that they get on the support desk, and she's going to be showing you some features that you might not use, you might not be aware of, but that are pretty useful. So again, hopefully you guys all find this useful and relevant, and without further ado, I'm just going to pass the screen over to Louise to get started and run through it. Okay, there you go, Louise.
Lovely, thank you. Lovely. Right, welcome everybody. I will just get started here now. So yeah, I was actually on about it the other week. I was showing you that the passwords, when people are putting in their passwords, this is the first thing I see here now when I'm after lunch in Socrates. When you put in your password, people are putting them in wrong and they don't realize they're putting it in wrong. So this was the peak button I was showing you the last day. I got updated yesterday, so I can show you. See this little, I put in a password and I can click on this button here now, hold it down, and it will show me what my password is. So if people are worried they're not putting in the correct password as they go, then they can press that button and it'll show you then. So I'm just going to log in. Right, so the first thing I'm going to show you is batch alerts. So a batch alert can be used for example, flu season. When you might want to, when someone calls up for an appointment, if you know that they're due a flu shot, you can have it on the appointment diary. When they're booking an appointment, it will flash up flu shot. And then when they've booked in the flu shot, they can delete the alert then to say they've already got it. So it's not going to keep popping up each time they book an appointment. And then you can turn it off after flu season. So if you have like 1,000 flu alerts put in after flu season, you can batch delete them all, so they're not going to come up all year round. People also like to use alerts for, say, if a good example is when someone leaves the surgery without paying a lot. There's not much point in having it when they're in the door because they've said, oh, I forgot my wallet or something. When they're booking an appointment, then you can get it to pop up to remind them that they owe money and to bring in their checkbook. So over here on the left-hand side, I'll show you the group alerts. So patient maintenance, and then patient group alerts. So some of you might know how to use this, but for the others, this will be quite useful for people. So load group, I got different reports that are linked to the report section. So you might want to use this for people for, yeah, as I said, flu shot. You also might want to have it for own accounts. Also, if you wanted to book in appointments for maybe 2 to 5 year olds that need to come in for their 2 and 5 year check, you might want that to come up then. So I'll just start off. I'll do the one for the flu shot. So there's a report called IPCRN Flu Finder. So that's linked to the report in the report section. So from here, I'll leave gender blank, patient type all, active conditions. Include only patients who have attended within the last 5 years. You can change that to 4 or make it 10 years if you want to. Exclude patients vaccinated or given in the last 5 months. So you don't want them coming up if they've come in for their flu shot in the last 5 months. My one has loads of test stuff in here, so you're not going to have as many flu stuff in here. So you just untick all the ones that have not got to do with the flu shot. And then you say, okay, most people only have 1 or 2. And just say okay to that. And it will return all the patients that are eligible for the flu shot. So the people that are eligible for the flu shot are people over 65, have a certain condition, so they have their notes coded, etc. So from here, I have a list of 109. That's a very small amount of people that are eligible for the flu shot. You're going to have hundreds more than me. So if you wanted to send off a group alert, so these are all the patients, 109, I can go create group alert. And there's 3 different types of alert. There's an appointment alert. So when you're booking an appointment, it'll pop down when you select the person's name that they are the message. You got an accounts alert. So when you're in the patient's account and you click charge an alert will pop up, or if you're in the waiting room and you're charging the patient, the alert will pop down. And also an alert in the consultation, so when you open up the chart, an alert will pop up down the bottom. So for this example, I'm going to show you, I'll actually put it in for all three just so you see what it looks like. So appointments, accounts, and consultations. So I'm going to put this down as appointment, alert, date, today, type of alert, and you can change it to whatever status you want. I'm just going to leave it at medium. It's up to yourself what you consider a high alert. So flu shot, whatever message you wanted to say, and then you go save. So those 109 patients have now got an alert in under their chart, so under their appointments. So then I go create group alert, and I'm going to do the exact same alert again, but I'm just going to put it in under accounts just so you can see what it looks like. And then I'm going to do it one more time, create group alert. If it's the case that you only actually want a certain amount of them, you can highlight the ones that you want the alert for. The same way you would in the prescription section, you kind of hold down the control button and click the random ones that you actually need. So I'm just going to say create group alert for 107 of them, consultation, flu shot. Today, same status, etc. Save. So I'm just going to take some random one, derma test. So when I go to the appointment diary now, I go to a slot and I look for derma test. It's now popping down here. He's already had a flu shot. I put this in the other day. Remind them about the flu shot. Remind them about the flu shot. So when you're talking to them, you can say, "Oh, you're coming in for, I don't know, general consultation," and you can remind them, "Actually, you are eligible for the flu shot. Do you want to get it now?" And they say, "Yeah, sure, why not?" Or if they say they don't want it, then you can just click on this X button. If you say that you've actually told them about it and they're booking the appointment, you can go, "Yeah, that's fine. Are you sure you want to mark this as resolved?" Yes. And if it's the case where it's not, you don't want anything to do with it, you can just click this delete button. So now that alert's not going to keep popping up for this patient when you book the appointment for them. I just go create, and then it's booked in. So where those alerts are recorded is in under the patient details. So I'll show you that. If I go patient derma test and go under his patient details, there's 4 tabs up here at the top, and the tab is called alerts. And in here you've got appointments, accounts, consultations. So he's got the account alert in here, he's got the consultation alert in here. So if you don't want it, if you've resolved it for whatever section is one-to-one, you can highlight it in here and go resolved or deleted, and it will go away. Same with all of these. And what they do is they go under the section called resolved or deleted, depending on what it is. And then also, so for this example, you don't want it coming up all year round because they don't need a flu shot in July. So you go under, to delete the group alert, you go patient maintenance, patient group alert again, and then over on the left-hand side, you've got alert history. So from here, you've got your appointment alerts. So here, I've got a few in here, flu shot. This is the one that I created today, and you can see that it was 409 patients. It was active in 108 now, and it's resolved in 1. So if I want to delete it entirely, all I have to do is highlight it and then click delete, and then it'll delete from all the charts. I'll just show you the accounts alert. So if I'm in the waiting room, I'm going to go to derma test. I'm going to go charge patient. I think I actually deleted that alert, but essentially it will pop up here. It'll pop up down here the same way that in the consultation. So you highlight, it pops down there. And then if I go view consultation, the other alert pops down here at the bottom. Yeah, I deleted it from the account section. So yeah, they pop up down there. And once again, when they're resolved, you just click on the checkbox, or you can delete it. And if you have a new alert that you want to add, you do that under the patient maintenance section in here, under group alerts. And also if you wanted to add a new one here, you can click on this green plus and you can create the alert there. So that's the alert section. Another thing that's quite useful is it's perfect for flu season when you have the flu shot again. So bulk SMS, you want to send everyone that's eligible for the flu shot and have consented to a text message or to receive text messages to get a text message. So under communication, SMS messaging, this is for one-to-one text in here. You just type in the message and send it off to the person. Now, some people don't have SMS messaging set up. If you do, then you can do this. If you don't, then to get text messages set up, you just need to purchase a bundle from a company called Ascendex. And you can do that by going to the website www.ascendex.ie, so ESENDEX.ie. And on that website, you can set up a trial. You get a username and password. So all you have to do is forward us on those details, either by email or calling us up. And then we can log on to the server and configure it. So the trial that you get, I think, is 14 text messages for like 7 days. But if you want to purchase just a bundle, you can do it out there as well. So to send a bulk SMS, you go to bulk SMS over here on the left-hand side, and then you go load group. And once again, it's the same reports that you saw under the alert section. So I'll just do the same one again. Let's go IPCRN flu finder. So it returns the information the exact same way. Actually, I'll do a different one so you can understand that you can work for anyone. So full patient listing. You might want to send off a text message to every female over 24, or is it 24? I can't remember for the smear. 24 for the smear, to come in and get a free smear or something like that. So this one we use for very wide different variety of reasons. So if I go from, maybe it's not 24, maybe 26. Anyway, you know, people who are going to be sending this will know. So age is 24. I think it's actually 65 is the cutoff here. So age is 24 to 65. Gender, you want female. Patient type all. Default HTTP all, GMS doctor all. You only want to send it to active patients. Registered is not included because it's not ticked. If you wanted to include registered, registered means when they were first created in your Socrates system, which you very rarely use. So that's just unticked. And then I'm going to say, I'm actually going to make this really small because I'm going to have like a few minutes for this thing to run because I've got thousands and thousands of patients. So that's just 24 to 30. And what it's doing is it returns all patients that have been between that age bracket. And you've got total patients 682, and you have valid mobile numbers 24, because in mine it's just got, most people will have mobile numbers, but in my test database they don't. So you're going to have maybe hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of text messages in here. So it's a good idea to check over on the left hand side how much credit you have. So mine's just tests and stuff, so I actually have no surgery is going to have that much credit in their account. But you just have to make sure that you have enough credit to send all these text messages. So to send all the text messages, if you only wanted to send to a couple, you just click them the exact same way that you have you were doing in under the patient alerts, or if you're doing a prescription, you click the same way. And then you have the option of send to selected or send to all. I'm going to go send to all. So here it gives you what report I ran, created by myself, valid SMS numbers, and patient consented to alerts. So you might return 600 patients, but you might only have 300 of them that have actually consented to a text message. So you don't want to send it off to 600. So you're only going to want to send 300. So you can type out whatever messages you want. Call for appointment, whatever it is, and then you can go, it's defaulting to send messages to consent to patients only. If I untick that, it would send to all the patients whether they've consented or not. If you're doing up this report really early in the morning, at 8 o'clock in the morning or something, you might want to send it there and then. You can go schedule for later, so maybe later on in the morning, and you can change that time to be whatever time, and then click send, and it will send off at 1 o'clock in this example. Yeah, so that's how you do that. To a good few calls that we get are got to do with appointments, changing your appointment types or looking at your account types to inactivate them or move them around. So to do that, you go under My Control Panel, Admin Console, system types. Under system types, you've got a good few tabs, and the one that we need to look at is account types. So under account types, I have a list of all my accounts. I have a lot of stuff in here. You're not going to have as much as me. So in here, you've got your charges and your payments, and there's some strike-offs in here somewhere as well. So if you only wanted to look at your charges, you just filter it down to look at your charges. These are all the charges. If you wanted to move one up or down, so let's just say you wanted a full medical and blood, you highlight it and you click on the move up button and it will move up your list. If you want to move it down, etc., move down. If you wanted to look at your payment types, they're all there. If you wanted to look at your strike-offs, they're all in there. Strike-offs aren't used as much as charges and payments. So to create a new, let's say I want to create a new payment type. I just make sure I click the clear button, because if I highlight one of these and I want to create payment, I'm just going to rename that one. So I need to click the clear button. So we'll just go with, maybe call it bank transfer or something like that. I don't think many people will get that, but there's an odd few of you out there that might. Transfer. That's not bank, that's back. Back transfer. Amount, you leave it as blank because it's obviously not going to be the same each time, and you're going to change it to payment. And then you click on the save button and it will go into your list. And once again, if I just look at my payment options, it's down at the bottom of my list, so I can move that up or down. I'd imagine bank transfer will be down at the bottom because you wouldn't do that very often. Cash is probably the most obvious one, and then laser check. So I've moved them all around. I've also got my appointment types in here under control panel that people ask a lot about. I'm going to close all these windows, an awful lot of windows open. Right, so I'll show you the other section of rearranging your appointment types. So when you're booking an appointment, you would have a lot more than me. I don't have a whole lot in here, but you might have 50. Some people have 100 of them in here. So to rearrange them, you go under My Control Panel, Admin Console, and then Appointments. So under the Appointments section, you have all these appointment types. So you just, if you want to move up or move down consultation, the same thing that you saw under the other section I showed you, you just use the green up and down buttons. Another thing that people don't realize is there's reports that get updated. You get new reports, updates every few weeks/months, which is like new reports or updates to reports that you already have. So they are in under the reports section, and I don't have any. It says no updates available, but if you have a little world symbol and it will tell you how many reports that you have to download, you just click onto it and you check all the ones that you want to install. It only takes, if you have, I think overall over the last 3 years or so that feature's been there, there's been about 60 reports that have been either modified or created new. So you just, the longest time it would take you to install all of them would be a minute. So they'll install. Another thing that people sometimes happens is when when the bloods are downloaded and the doctors are reviewing them, and they're saying there's blood results, it was there earlier and now it's not there. And usually it's because some other doctor or maybe a nurse has completed it and they don't understand why it's gone missing. So you can do that by going to check who completed a result. I hope I have a good example of someone. So you go into a patient's chart. There's a report as well, but if you go directly into the patient's chart under their investigation section, I'll go with one of these. A more recent one. Right, so in here, these are all in review still. But the status of them in here is if you click on this little button to the right of the person's name, it tells you the status of what you've done with it. So say if I complete this one. Oh, sorry, 1 second. Complete. If I click on this button now, it'll tell me what happened to it. Someone put it in review on the 7th of the 8th, someone completed it, I think it was reactivated and someone completed it again. So it gives you a status of who was last using it, basically, who was last dealing with it. Another section that people don't, when you're looking at note sections, if someone has typed in a note by accident into the wrong chart, to delete the note, you just begin your consultation, you highlight your note, and then you click delete on your keyboard. So are you sure you want to delete the selected note, and you say yes. If you have, so say if I modify this note here, and I click update. So originally it said test, I'm after changing it to testing a note. There, if I highlight the note, there's a little audit button here, and it'll give me a record of what the note said originally. So it said test, and it was created on the 30th of the 10th, and it was modified by myself again on the 2nd of the 11th. So yeah, those are the audit ones. Another suggestion that I would get for people to use, as of the last few months, obviously you can't go, and people are starting to use more of HealthLink, Affidia, and Alliance referrals. So if you're not using them, the doctors aren't using them, I would suggest they use them. It will make their life a lot easier instead of posting them off. So if you don't have them, if the doctors don't have them set up on their machines, to use the HealthLink and the Alliance referrals, you need to have a HealthLink certificate. So the doctor just needs to get that installed on their machine. And once they get that installed on their machine, they just need to know what their HealthLink username, password, and PIN is. So I'll just show you, I have a HealthLink certificate installed on my machine. So I'll just show you roughly where that section is and how to do it. So under Documents and eReferrals, a load of stuff here. To add a new eReferral, you click on Add New, and you click HealthLink Referral. And if you're doing this for the very first time, it'll come up with a window asking you for your username, password, and PIN. You fill that in and go Remember Credentials, so it doesn't have to keep coming up each time. You just click that, and then you fill it in, and away you go. So there's two different types. There's public and private. So you just click public. You choose your hospital. And so let me see here. And you choose what type of referral you want. And here it's saying there's no patients found because you've never sent a referral to this hospital through HealthLink. So all you have to do is go create new patient. If there is a patient, you just click their name. You fill in all the details. If there's any mandatory fields are starred, you click next. You fill in your whole referral. So I'm just going to fill in some random stuff here. And when you're filling it in, it links to the patient's chart. So in here you got history of presenting illness. It links to the notes section, so you can bring in their notes if they have any. And if you have, it's linked to the prescription section. So as you can see, it's already filled in the history of allergies because it's linked it in. But if you want to delete some of that, just delete some of that. And if you want to delete some of the prescriptions, you just highlight it and go remove. This person has a lot of drugs in their chart. And then you just go, when you've got it all filled in, you click next. It shows you a preview page, and then you just go submit. And then you can see it's submitting electronically, and now it's been sent, it's delivered. So it'll make life so much easier rather than having to fill in a form and then post it off. That's done and dusted. It goes to HealthLink. HealthLink gives to the hospital sends you back information the same time as you're downloading your bloods. So it's a lot easier for everybody. So the Alliance referral is the exact same thing. Alliance referral, the exact same thing, except for their private hospital. You choose the relevant hospital, fill in all the relevant stuff, and the exact same way. And then the other option here is your Affidia referral. So you just select that, you fill in your username and password, and the password is the exact same for everyone. This didn't actually need to be included, but it was years ago. So the username is EMGP, and then the password is the exact same thing, all capital letters with a 1 at the end of it. And then you just fill in the relevant information on it. Another small little thing, but it would make life easier for people is, when someone comes in and you want to charge them, and there's so many patients in your visit history and you're charging them, you might remember what time it is, but it's easier again if you just literally highlight anybody. And I want to look for a guy called Joe. I know Joe was in. So I'll just highlight anyone, and then if I just start typing Joe, a search window comes down at the bottom, and I go find next, and it will highlight Joe. If there's more than one Joe, you just go to the next Joe. Yeah, there's more than one Joe there. And you just click to find next, and it highlights them, and then I can charge the patient. I think that would be useful for people. Another section that people will find useful, not a lot of people use it. I use it a bit when I'm doing stuff in charts. There's shortcuts in Socrates. Now you mightn't use them very often. I only use maybe 3 or 4 of them. But if I press Control, so I'm going to close out all these windows. So just to show you it, if I press Control and on my keyboard and 1, it brings up my appointment diary. If I press Control 2, it brings up the waiting room. 3, 4, it brings up all the sections, right? On the Socrates website, there's a manual for these shortcuts. But the ones that I would use a lot of, so if I press Control 4, it's bringing up the consultation section. So I just have to go into I'm just going into any patient starts. So it's brought up the consultation. So I did it earlier actually. When I was in under the investigation section, I needed to complete a result, but I couldn't because I hadn't begun a consultation. And as you know, if I don't begin a consultation, I can't do anything. So if I'm in the prescription section or any section at all, if I press Control and the letter N for November, it brings up the begin consultation, and I can choose relevant information and go save. Another really good shortcut would be Control and I, so that's bring up a label. So people know that one, the print I or Control I, but they mightn't know that if you're in the appointment diary and if you highlight somebody's name and you press Control and I from there, you can print off the labels from there. And also if you have in the waiting room, say if you have loads of bloods coming in today, you can kind of get them pre-done at the start. So if I just go filter down, I want to look at the blood test ones. I know you probably have more than 4 in a day, but in this scenario, I've got 4. If I press Control and I from the waiting room, highlight the person in Control I, and print off the labels that I need, and go print, they'll print off Control I from here. So you'll have them ready long before they come in the door. So yeah, on the Socrates website, up at the top right hand corner, there's resources. I've showed you this pretty much every week. I'll scroll down the page here a little bit, and there is a manual called Socrates Keyboard Shortcuts. And from there, this is a list of all the shortcuts. So some of these might be useful for you. The ones that I use mostly is Control N for beginning a consultation and Control I for printing off labels. But there's a whole list of other shortcuts that people might like to use. I love shortcuts. Some people hate them, but each to their own. Yeah, that's pretty much it. There's other sections that I could show you, but those are the ones that we get asked mostly. So I hope that was useful.
That was brilliant, Louise. That was really helpful. Good overview. I think the keyboard shortcuts could come in very handy for people. We did have a question in from Rachel. I think this might be relating to an existing query that she has in, but she's basically looking for, and I don't know if it exists or not, the facility to send a contact to multiple employees within the practice. She currently has to copy and paste and send to each employee individually, but I think she's looking for a group contact sharing facility, or do you know any way to do that quickly?
Is she talking, I'm guessing that she's talking about if she's sending an instant message to some people. She goes contacts and she goes, I want to send a message to David, and I send off the message. I think what she's saying is she wants to send off a group message to everyone to say, I don't know, cake in the kitchen or meeting, don't forget about the meeting or something like that. I'm guessing that's what she wants. That feature doesn't exist, but I can put that in as user request.
It is, sorry, Rachel said it is the instant message that she's looking for, the group kind of thing.
Yeah. The only thing I can think of for now for her to work, she might already be doing this. I'd say she is. When you go to my tasks, she probably does this anyway. She adds in a group task and sends it off to everybody that way, and then on everyone's computer, it comes up with you've got a new task from somebody. It's not as useful as if it was an instant message, but that would be a workaround for now anyway. But yeah, I'll log that as a user request because I'd imagine that might have got asked before because it sounds vaguely familiar. It would be useful.
Sure. Okay. No, that's great. And look, I don't think there's any more questions at the moment. And Rachel just says, yeah, for cake, she might get a better response. So yeah, I think that.
Yeah, cake.
Everyone going. Look, Louise, that was brilliant. And again, a message here from Andre, just thanking you for the shortcuts and everything else. And I think
Lovely.
the series has been brilliant. Hopefully, people who have watched them are finding it useful. Again, we're always open to feedback, so please do send me on your feedback. And look, I think this is something that we might look to do again in the future if you guys have found it useful. But thanks a million, Louise. You've been absolutely fantastic, and it has been great to
You too, Donald. Thanks.
knowledge. So look, thanks a lot, and thanks to everyone who attended, and hope that everyone has a lovely weekend. And thanks again for joining us. So cheers, bye bye.
Good luck. Bye bye.